Hear ye, I bring to you the newest parchment from Hollywood with the latest news from the biggest celebrities. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, okay, that is what I thought. Jeez. The multiverse is still just the hot topic to do in superhero movies right now. The Flash. So The Flash is movie number 15 in the DC Extended Universe. We remember the character The Flash, Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller in Justice League. And now quite a few years later, we finally get his first solo movie, which takes place a few years after Justice League. Barry Allen, aka The Flash, goes back in time and saves his mother from her untimely murder, thus saving his father from his wrongful imprisonment, so his family can become whole again. Only thing is, when you go back and change the past, that has an effect on the universe you're in, which he finds out. Cause now General Zod is attacking Earth again, we have Michael Keaton Batman, and a Supergirl instead of Superman. Yeah, things are definitely different. And now we have our highly anticipated DC movie. And yeah, this was totally highly anticipated, at least by me. I remember when this movie was announced, like all those years ago. It was originally supposed to come out in March of 2018. And now after a number of delays and problems, it's finally out. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2023. So how is it? Dude, this movie's pretty fucking nuts. It gets pretty crazy. In most ways, which made me go, yeah, that was awesome. And in some ways it made me go, oh my god, dude, really? This movie really just did that. Holy shit. Alright, first off, Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, the Flash. Say what you want about them as a human being, but as an actor, they're pretty damn good, you gotta admit it. Like, as a character, Barry Allen is just so awkward. Like he was in Justice League. He's just not on the same level as most other people. But as a superhero, he does feel that obligation to help people. He does kind of run into that conflict, you know, because he's helping himself by saving his family. Does he want to be selfish and save himself, or does he want to save the world? That's an interesting conflict. And we saw in the trailer, Ezra Miller actually plays two versions of Barry Allen, because in this universe he finds himself in, there is another him. Gotta say, it's really impressive that Ezra Miller played two versions of the same character, and they're in scenes together. That's always really impressive. You gotta wonder how they pulled those scenes off visually. Gotta give them all sorts of props for that. And Michael Keaton returns as Batman for the first time since the 90s in Batman Returns. And coming from someone who just was not around when those Tim Burton Batman movies came out, I gotta say it was really cool to see him on the big screen for the first time. I actually really liked him as Batman in this movie. He has some pretty cool action scenes where he's throwing down, beating up bad guys, and you're like, he's still got it. Which honestly gives me a lot of faith for Beetlejuice 2. And Sasha Calle as Supergirl, I felt was a standout. For me personally, I felt like she wasn't in the movie as much as I would have liked her to have been, and that's because she's a really interesting character. She does have that kind of chip on her shoulder kind of attitude, and yeah, sure, we do get some explanation of that. I think it's just because I was so impressed by Supergirl and her action scenes, which were awesome, that I was like, oh, I could have gone for more of that. Maybe I'm just being greedy, I don't know. But as a character, I thought she was really cool, and Sasha Calle did a really good job. She's a good actress. Now, alright, let's talk about the action, cause holy fuck, the action scenes in this movie are fucking awesome. I mean, this movie starts out with a really big action scene that's actually probably my favorite action scene in the movie, if I'm being honest. I mean, pretty early on, he's just hauling ass down the road, the visual effects are going nuts, the music's kicking on, my dad and I were like, holy god. Yeah, I think the IMAX aspect ratio was the way to go, so good call, Andy Muschietti, who directed this. That was a smart move, because this movie is really big in scope. That definitely shows in the action scenes, dude. Just when the shit's going down, it's just so larger than life. And just some of the stuff the Flash can do, which if you've watched at least a season of the Flash TV show with Grant Gustin, you'll be like, yeah, okay, the Flash can do that. I wasn't too surprised, really. And it just made the action scenes that much cooler. A lot of CG, of course. And yeah, you've heard in reviews that some of the CG just looks really bad. And yes, I heard what Andy Muschietti came out and said about that. He was like, yeah, they look weird on purpose because that's the warped view of the Flash fucking with time. So in a way, I do kind of understand that, but honestly, that does feel more like an excuse. Like, yeah, the CG looks bad on purpose. Like, really? No, cause yeah, the CG in some action scenes looks noticeably bad. Like 2002 Spider-Man CGI kind of bad. Which, you know, in 2002 it was fine because that's where CG was at the time. 21 years later, I don't feel like there's much of an excuse you can use. That being said, the CG wasn't bad all the time. I mean, when the bat wings flying in the air, that looked pretty cool. That was CG, right? And like I said, this movie does deal with the multiverse. The DC multiverse, that is. With Michael Keaton Batman coming in. Cool things happen, I'm trying to be vague here. No spoilers in this video. But this is where I bring up some of the story decisions this movie makes, where I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this movie just did that. I don't know if everyone who watches this movie is gonna really be down with these decisions that the story makes. In fact, I'm still kind of processing them myself. There's some shock factor in this movie for sure. Like, of all of the infinite possibilities of things this movie could have done, it chose to do this. And it just blows my mind. Like, I never thought I would see that on the big screen, and I just did. Now, are these things a good thing or a bad thing for the movie? I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, overall, I thought the story was really good. It's a story about Barry Allen who just wants to save his own life, really. And so he tries to fix it by cheating and going back in time, and he learns that there are consequences to cheating. That's an important lesson of life. You can't always get what you want. So for the most part, I felt the story and the lesson were executed very well. Just a couple of things that the movie did, like decision-wise, I was like, really? You did that? I don't know if everyone's gonna like that. And that's as specific as I can get right now without giving away spoilers. Don't worry though, of course I'm gonna make a spoiler talk for The Flash. I have to. It's the fucking Flash movie. The score was composed by Benjamin Wallfish, and I thought it was pretty cool. He wrote a pretty neat, like, little synthesizer motif for The Flash. I like that, and of course, if you're gonna have Michael Keaton Batman in the movie, you gotta bring back Danny Elfman's main theme that he wrote for the Tim Burton films. And hearing that from big movie theater speakers, well, not for the first time, but for the first time accompanying the Batman it belongs to, that was pretty fucking cool. You gotta think, Benjamin Wallfish was like, dude, this is awesome. I get to write with this classic Danny Elfman theme that's been around since 1989, which people love. Lucky me. Props to Benjamin Wallfish and his awesome composing skills. So in the end, The Flash, for the most part, was everything I wanted the Flash movie to be. It's a big DC event film with larger-than-life action scenes. Like, seriously, the action scenes are the highlight of this movie for sure. The acting was great all around. This movie gets crazy, it gets nuts. If you're a DC fan, your mind's probably gonna be blown by this movie. Again, I'm still processing some of the stuff I saw, but some of the visual effects were ass, I'm not gonna lie. I think because this is the warped view of the Flash going through time is just, it's kind of a lame excuse. And some of the decisions the story makes, I was like, oh, okay, you had to do that? I think you could have chosen to do something a little cooler. But all in all, I had the blast I wanted to have when watching this movie, and I'm definitely gonna see it again. For The Flash, I will say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. But that's a very high while it's in theaters. Like, go see it in IMAX. It's worth the extra money. Because those damn action scenes, I'm telling ya. And there is a post-credit scene. Stick around for that, because it's pretty good. So The Flash, it's finally out now. Have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And since this DC Extended Universe is coming to an end, what was your favorite movie in this franchise? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!